I'm Matt Moore at HP Basketball on Twitter, and this is the playoff picture for Wednesday, April 8th in the association. Let's start with the Eastern Conference. Pistons have locked the one, so they're done. They've done all they can do. They have locked the one seed. They have home court advantage throughout the Eastern Conference playoffs. They have no more reason to play anybody. Cade's doubtful for Wednesday's game. We'll see if he winds up coming back this week from his collapsed lung, which is confusingly not that big of a deal, which medical science, who knows, man. Where it gets interesting is kind of 2 seed. So the 2 seed remains up for grabs between the Celtics and the Knicks. The Celtics magic number here is 1. They're almost definitely going to be the 2 seed. It will be interesting because of the number of teams that are in the play-in tournament, especially if you look at the possibility of a matchup with the Hornets. You look at the matchup with the Sixers. A lot of interesting matchups for the Celtics, but the Celtics are almost definitely going to be the number 2. The Celtics lock this with a win versus the Knicks on Thursday. Here's where stuff starts to go really wonky. Do the Knicks want to stay in the 3 and face Boston in the second round, or do they want to slide the 4 and get the Pistons in the second round? As good as Detroit has been this year, and they have been awesome, the inexperience factor combined with their shooting problems, they are outside of the top 10 in effective field goal percentage. Those teams almost never make it out of the second round based off of the research that I've done. The Knicks, I think, are in an interesting position here. Usually they just play to win. That's all they do, is they just play and they get as high as possible and you get home court. That's another underrated thing here about the 3 versus 4 question is, let's say that the Cavaliers or the Hawks potentially, or whoever winds up in 5, makes a run to the conference finals. Well, if you get the 3 seed, now you've got home court advantage versus if you're the 4, you're relying on even less likely upsets to occur for you to have home court in the conference finals. So like every spot, I think, kind of in terms of getting home court advantage as the series goes on. Cavaliers have locked top 4, so they get to kind of do whatever they want to. They can shut down everybody and go rest and be content to play the Pistons. You know, them aiming for the Pistons after talking so much shit about them early in the season, it makes round 2 really interesting. As it stands, I don't necessarily think that the Knicks back off. I think the Knicks go ahead and lock the 3. Cavs get 4. And we're pretty well locked here after a number of days. 5 seed is where things start to get nuts, okay? Atlanta's magic number is now 3 for the 5 seed. They can lock a playoff spot on Wednesday night a number of ways. The Hawks face the Cavs twice and then the Heat. If the Cavs shut everyone down, that's going to be a gift wrap for the 5 to the Hawks, which means that they would play them in the first round. But if the Cavs push, now you can push Atlanta back down, and that's where tiebreakers start to get into this thing. It's here that I want to remind you that multi-team ties, no matter what, okay, winner always wins out. This is something that people do not understand, and I have to remind them of every single year. When the NBA removed division winners as getting guaranteed seeds, they still kept it as a tiebreaker. If you are head-to-head with a team and you split, and one of them wins the division, they go ahead. If you are in a multi-team tie, automatically the division winner goes up. So you have to decide who wins their division first, and that breaks all the ties, and then you reset back to tiebreaker order. So even if you say that Atlanta, Toronto, and Philly all were in the same kind of boat, even if the Sixers had a better record versus the Raptors and Hawks, if you look at the games between those 3 teams, the Hawks still go ahead, and then it's Raptors Sixers, and it resets. Okay, it has tiebreaker over Orlando. They're down 2-1 to Miami, but Miami can't get out of the play-in, so it's unlikely that's going to wind up mattering. They do face them in the final game of the season. If they were to beat, by the way, the Heat, they tie them in division record and then would pass them in conference record for second tiebreaker, so they do have tiebreaker over the Heat if the Hawks were to lose out. All the way down there, though, and the Hawks have to win, or the Heat have to win out, and the Hawks have to lose out for Miami to catch. And on top of that, Charlotte and Orlando would also have to lose out. Miami's screwed. That's where that's at. Charlotte, though, Charlotte has tiebreaker over Atlanta. So what this means is that any multi-team tie involving the Hawks and the Hornets get the top spot. So if the Hornets go 2-0 and the Hawks lose out, the Hornets jump everyone. Because when you look at where the numbers are at, the Hornets' max number of wins is 45. The Hawks are currently at 45. If the Sixers go 2-1, the Magic go 2-1, the Hornets go 2-0, the Hawks go 0-3, the Hornets are going to jump all the way. If Raptors go up to 5, the Hornets would jump all the way up there because they have tiebreaker over Magic and the Hornets, or the Hawks, I'm sorry, in the 3-way tie. Okay. So multi-team tie involving the Hawks and Hornets. The Hornets are going to get the top spot. If the Hornets go 2-0 and the Hawks lose out, the Hornets jump everyone. But let's just say the Hornets can't catch the Hawks because that is pretty tough. In any multi-team tie, say with the Raptors and the Sixers, Hawks automatically are going to jump everybody. Raptors and Sixers split the season series, but the Sixers have division record tiebreaker. So if the Raptors and Sixers wind up tied, the Sixers go ahead. Raptors' position here is very tenuous. They also win any 3-way tie with the Hornets as long as the Hawks are not involved. So if Hawks clinch 5, Sixers are in a really good spot to move up here. Orlando's tiebreaker situation is a nightmare, and they're on the schedule. They face Minnesota on Wednesday and then Boston, but Boston may have clinched by the time that they play them on Sunday. Miami's tiebreaker situation is great, but they're too far back. They're set. Here's where I've got the projected matchups right now. All right, so I've got Pistons Hornets in the 1-8. This is actually a tie that winds up being determined here with the Hornets getting the 8. It's hard to I'm not handicapping the play-in tournament. It's more of like who winds up with a better record, my projections, which have like percentages of based off of probability, et cetera, et cetera. Those I think are kind of important, plus like net ratings. Let's say the Hornets win. Okay, let's say the Hornets get 8 and they stay in the 8. Pistons Hornets is the one I think everybody wants, and it's really fascinating. This is a 3-point shooting team versus a Pistons team that doesn't take a lot of threes. This could be a real math problem. That matchup's going to be one that everyone's going to kind of look at. First playoff series, though, that's never a good opportunity or a good situation, I think, to walk into. How does LaMelo Ball react to that? Brandon Miller, etc. In the 4-5 in the bottom half of that bracket, it's going to be Cavs-Hawks. That's almost definitely going to be the matchup. I feel pretty good about Cleveland here. Jalen Johnson never having really kind of been in a series. Dyson Daniels not really having been in a playoff series. I just, even as rough as the Cavs have been, I'm not going to be surprised, though, if this takes longer than it should, because Cleveland's ability to kind of focus, really hammer teams, they haven't shown that. And the Hawks are tough. They're really tough defensively. The small ball stuff, I think, is really interesting, too, going up against Mobley and Allen. That's a really interesting dynamic with the switching that you'll see. In the bottom half of the bracket, I've got Celtics facing the Raptors in the 2-7. That is a pretty, honestly, I think it's a pretty boring matchup. I think the Celtics probably win that in 5. As much as I like parts of the Raptors, I just don't trust their overall complexion, and the shooting is another problem there. Who's the defense? Well, it's probably Boston in a switching scenario. Who's the better offense? It's Boston by a wide margin. Raptors defense is good, but I tend to lean towards Celtics there. Then Knicks Sixers in a 3-6 in a rematch of the one from 2 years ago. I don't know what to predict out of the Sixers. Maxi's awesome. I think he's incredible. He's been so good this year. All NBA second team for me for sure. Thought him for first team, honestly, for a long time. But I think the Knicks have the highest floor overall. So that's, I think it's like a really fascinating kind of matchup that we could see in the first round. Let's go to the Western Conference and talk about that one for a minute. All right, so the Thunder Magic number is now 1 for the 1 seed. They're in kind of an interesting situation. So they're playing the Clippers on the back-to-back tonight. If they rest here and they risk losing, that means to lock the 1 seed, they have to beat Denver on Friday. You probably don't want this to come down to the last game. But by doing so, they increase the odds they face the Nuggets in the second round, which I don't think either team wants. I don't think the Thunder are scared of the Nuggets. They beat them last year. It was a tough series, but they're not like, oh no, got to duck the Nuggets. They don't have to duck anybody. They're the Thunder. But I think they are like, I don't want to deal with Jokic until we have to. As long as we have to, let's keep it that way. So that kind of brings an interesting question. If they were to lose the Clippers tonight, if they win tonight, they rest everybody the rest of the way. They probably rest everybody on Friday and give the Nuggets that win to ensure that they stay on the other side of the bracket. Spurs can't fall fat past the 2nd seed, so they can kind of do what they want here in terms of pushing for the 1 or switch into rest. Victor Wembanyama on Wednesday, along with Stephon Castle. It's going to be 1 Thunder, 2 Spurs, almost definitely. There's very few situations where that's not going to be. It would take Spurs winning out, Thunder losing out for the Spurs to move to the 1 seed. Nuggets Magic number for the 3 seed is now 3. So they got to go 3-0 or go 2-1 and have the Lakers go 2-1 or worse. Or then go 1-3 and the Lakers go 1-2. So that's kind of how it is. Lakers have to not win out, but if we assume the Nuggets beat the Grizzlies, which I will not assume, but if we assume the Nuggets beat the Grizzlies, it's 2. then Denver probably only needs to win one game if the Lakers lose to the Warriors on Wednesday night. That Lakers-Warriors game is going to determine a lot of how the Nuggets approach the last 2 games of the season, because that'll determine what they need to do to try and get seeding. The Lakers are just trying to stay alive. They've got tiebreaker over Houston, which could very well decide who's got home court in the first round. It seems pretty likely, actually, that Lakers and Houston might wind up tied, and then it'll just be tiebreaker. Houston's magic number for the 5 seed is down to 1 after the Wolves lost last night. Any win or a Wolves loss or combination thereof, and that gets them into the 4-5 spot. They're technically alive for the 3 seed if Denver goes 1-2 or winless, and the Lakers go 1 or worse. So they can still sneak into the 3 seed technically, but that probably gets wrapped up by Friday. Wolves obviously trying to stay alive. Their magic number for a playoff spot is down to 1 after the Suns loss. Suns loss, Wolves win, gets Wolves playoffs. All they got to do is get that one more win or a Suns loss. So it looks like Wolves are going to be the 6 almost definitely. They face the Nuggets if the Nuggets lock the 3. Suns are going to be the 7 seed unless the Wolves implode. Their magic number for the 2 seed is 2. Clippers lead the Blazers for a tiebreaker. They play this week to kind of determine how it goes. If we look at the secondary tiebreakers for the Blazers and the Clippers, they're not in the same division, so it goes to conference record, and the Blazers actually lead there. Like, there's a decent chance that the Blazers could wind up in the 8, and Clippers Warriors is the 9-10, which is wild given the histories of those teams and the players, and the Steph and Kawhi and 9-10 matchup is crazy, but that's kind of how it. So here's where I've got the West matchups for right now. This is based off of Tuesday, but this is still updated for Wednesday. Thunder face the Clippers in a 1-8. I just said the Blazers, but I still think the Clippers will get out. I don't have a lot of faith in the Clippers at all. Thunder Clippers is interesting, but I actually think that that's a worse matchup for the Clippers significantly than the Spurs. So I would imagine Thunder in 5, maybe 6 on that one. Rockets Lakers will be fascinating. Hopefully Luka Doncic and Reeves can get back for that one. And I do kind of like the Rockets matchup there. I don't hate it. The Lakers won the season series, but I think with the way that the Rockets have played lately, they're starting to figure it out a little bit. Spurs Suns in a 2-7. Suns have given them trouble, so Suns fans have tried to convince me that they can actually hang here. I don't know, man. I think that the Spurs are so good. It'll probably go long just because the Spurs have no playoff experience, but I don't like the forwards trying to body Wembanyama as much as I like the Clippers matchup. If the Clippers wind up in 7, I'll be very intrigued there. And then Nuggets Wolves in the 3-6 for the rubber match after the Denver beat them in 2023 in the first round, and then Wolves beat them in the second round in 2024. This is the rubber match. I would Nuggets. They won the season series 3-1. They have shooters now. Wolves did win the last one, and they're always tough, but with Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards injuries, I'm kind of expecting Nuggets to advance here. Really interesting bracket. That's kind of a look at the playoff picture for going into Wednesday night. I'll have updates on all of this stuff on Twitter at HB Basketball, and I'll write about it here on the Substack. Hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy the games as the playoffs get closer.